Some people RV to hang out at the campground, to sit around a campfire and experience the great outdoors. Others like to go places. Today, we're focusing a little bit on the latter. Randy and Callie Beheimer of RV Destinations magazine are going to talk to us about some of their favorite destinations and their readers' favorite destinations. Plus, we're going to talk about tires. What do you need to know about when to replace the tires on your RV or trailer? This is RV Miles. Welcome to episode number 329 of RV Miles. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby. And we are two RVers who have been crisscrossing all over North America since 2016 with our three kids, Jack, Ethan, and Henry. Here at RV Miles, we talk all things RV and outdoors, from industry news to travel destinations, our national parks, and so much more.
We're coming to you this week from the beautiful Savannah Lakes RV Resort outside of Savannah, Georgia. This is a property that is ran by the folks that run Verde Ranch RV Resort in Camp Verde, Arizona, where we were when the pandemic hit. We were supposed to be there for a week, and
we stayed for 3 months.
Thankfully, we were at a wonderful RV resort with great people and fair pricing, and they did a fantastic job in those early days of the pandemic when some places were shutting down. Nobody knew what was going on, and they were just very responsible but organized and held it together. And we can never thank them enough for that experience. So it's exciting now to be at the second of their properties that we have visited. They have a few other ones, and this one just opened a few months ago. So there's still stuff on the way. The pool's not quite open yet, but it is gorgeous.
Oh, it's stunning here. Like the use of the environment and also just like the style of Savannah and just the buildings themselves are so beautiful. This is an outdoor sort of group event center that we're standing in right now. I wish we could show it to you fully. Like it's these beautiful wood beams and this fireplace and floor to ceiling windows in here, and it's just really stunning. And it's nice to see our friends over at CRR continue to expand. You know, they have the property here, they have the property out in Coachella, which we have talked about trying to figure out maybe an RV Miles rally there to meet up with some of you folks out in the West. And so it's just, they're really, really good people here.
What I love about what they do at their resorts is they do excellent clubhouses.
Oh, their clubhouses are the best.
It's a great space for you to go work during the day. If you want for you to go hang out and play like table games like table tennis and air hockey and stuff like that, all free. There's no arcade machines that you have to pay money for. It's sleek and stylish, but also fun and family friendly as well.
They're the kind of property that, similar to what happened to us when we came out of Baja and we went to San Diego, this is the kind of property that I make for after I've had like a week or 2 or 3 or 4 of really roughing it. And I want that resort feel. You know, a lot of places tack the word resort onto their campground name. This is a resort. This is a destination within itself. So we're actually really not going to go into Savannah while we're here. We have had the pleasure of visiting Savannah back in 2022, but this week is all about, for us, trying to crank out as much content as we can, sort of get ahead, because we are going to be off essentially for the next 2 weeks, at least in our world. You're still going to see things are still going to come out across all of RV Miles networks and social media, but the Eppersons are going to take an actual 10-day vacation. We are taking the kids to Disney World. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to my black tank. But if this couldn't be a more perfect place for us to be sitting in the clubhouse, having great Wi-Fi, and getting out of the 95-degree heat and 100% humidity, which is what it feels like even at 8:30 this morning.
Yeah, it's the air is thick. Let's just say that.
Is thick. All right. And speaking of not thick, not air, that isn't even, I don't even know how to transition into that's not. That didn't work. Didn't work. I know I was looking for you to set me up to transition us, and it didn't happen, and that's fine. We thought before we jumped into this interview that we would pick up a question that we saw recently in the RV Miles Facebook group, and it got a lot of responses to it, a lot of activity. So we thought usually when we see something like that, that's something we want to talk about on the podcast as well. So we had a RV Miles Facebook group member, which if you are not a member of, you should come over and join us. They said, how many miles should I get from my tires? Or is there a time age of tires? Also, the sidewalls of the tires have little cracks in them, nothing major. But what constitutes major time to change?
So for me, little cracks is major. It's time. So there's different things going on depending whether you have a motorhome or a travel trailer. But the main thing is that RV tires generally never wear out over miles unless you are somebody that really travels a lot. But the vast majority of people, even heavy travelers, their tires are going to age out instead of wear out. And that's a little bit different than most people are used to with automobiles, where you're looking at the tread depth and all that. You still want to look at the tread depth and make sure there's not something going on, because other things can wear tread too. It might not just be the amount of time you've traveled or the amount of miles you traveled, but it could be, there's something off with the alignment. Trailers have alignment too. You can get an alignment done on a trailer. You might have an axle issue, bending your axle that is causing tread wear. All that sort of stuff you need to watch out for. But most tires on motorhomes and travel trailers need to be changed after they age out. Unfortunately, there's no set exact guideline of when that is. So the rule of thumb that we go by, and I think most RVers go by with travel trailers, is that you want to change travel trailer tires every 4 to 5 years max. What you don't see in the inside is that tire drying out. Tires have waxes in the rubber, and they need to be sort of evenly distributed through that rubber. And that wax gets distributed by driving down the road. So an RV sitting still, that actually isn't better than one that has been driven a lot. So a lot of people will say, do I need to change my tires? It's just been sitting in the same place for 3 years. That's actually really bad. Not only for that reason, it's not distributing the waxes, but you can also develop a flat spot in your tire, and that's dangerous. So trailer tires, 4 to 5 years max. There is a date code on the tire. Say you buy a new travel trailer that is, you're buying it now, it's 2024, and it's a 2022 model year. Well, maybe that tire might have even been made in 2021. So you really want to check those date codes. And I'll put a link in the description for this episode of an image that shows you where the date code is and everything. But you really want to follow that. On a motorhome, you got a little bit more time. And the reason for that is trailer tires, they really get beat up. Because when you turn in a trailer, that tire is scrubbing, right? It is moving horizontally across the road, and you hit curbs and all that sort of stuff. And trailer tires just take more wear. And frankly, they're not built as great unless you've upgraded them as most motorhome tires. Motorhome tires, I would say you probably want to be 6 to 7 years maximum. But again, you want to watch for things like cracks. You want to watch for things like tread wear, and just go get them checked out every now and then. Have your motorhome tires rotated. If you go to somewhere like Discount Tire, we love Discount Tire. They've always been really great to us. Have your motorhome tires rotated there, and they'll inspect them, and they'll let you know in what kind of shape they're in, and you can have a better peace of mind about when they need to be changed and if you're all okay.
Anything that people should look for, as you were talking about sort of the time limit, especially on a travel trailer, something that came to mind is there anything that would accelerate that? So immediately I thought, we had our Sabre sitting in Palm Springs for an entire summer. The wheels were not covered. It was not in a covered space. It was just getting beat down with that hot California sun.
Well, we were tightly parked between two other vehicles
We
at
were.
a storage lot. So I don't think the tires themselves were getting much sun. But if yours are, that is something to be concerned about. That sun will dry out the tires over time. Now, you don't need to be putting covers on your tires wherever you go. But if your trailer's in storage and those tires are hitting the sun, or you're parked long term somewhere, get some tire covers. And put them on. Or you can have an easy snap cover fitted for your RV, which is sort of like a screen material and snaps that go around the wheel well, and it's just a sort of flat thing. There are magnetic tire covers as well that magnetize to the rim of your vehicle. All sorts of options. But if you're long term in hot, heavy sun, like you're out in the desert or something like that, it's worth it to cover your tires.
Do you remember how cute we were when we first got bussy
Yeah.
and we carried around tire covers with us
We
and
did.
we thought we were
put 'em
going to be
on.
stopped long enough to actually use them? This, I know no one can see this because they're listening to this and it's not zooming around in the camera for those of you watching it, but there is a wasp that is super into us right now. So if at any moment you just hear like a microphone drop, it's not because I said something witty, it's because I ran. Just be aware that at any second now I'm taking off because this wasp really likes us a lot.
So we bought those covers though because those tires on our bus conversion cost us $4,000, and we wanted
Yeah.
them to last as long as possible. We didn't want to be spending $4,000 every 4 to 5 years, right? So we wanted to get every bit out of them as
Yeah.
possible, and I get that. I mean, that's the situation with most motorhome owners.
Yeah, I get it. When I think back about 8 years ago, because next month will be our 8-year RV anniversary. When I think about the RVers we were then compared to the RVers that we are now, oh my goodness gracious, that wasp. When I think about that, it just makes me smile and it makes me giggle. And actually, we're going to talk a little bit about this on the Detour episode, which is the episode that we do after the show for our mile marker members. We're going to have a little bit of a discussion that now we've been out on the road this summer vacay for 4 weeks now. Has it made us miss full-time RVing? So we're going to discuss a little bit about that over on Detour, which is, again, what we do for mile marker members after every single show. So if you are interested in hearing that conversation and our thoughts on how we feel about full timing now that we're back in the rig, and if we're longing for it or we can't wait to get back to the apartment, you can just go over to rvmiles.com/mile markers and become a member today. It's $7 a month, $70 for the year, and it is making a huge difference in what we do here at RV Miles. We continue to increase and produce better content that is meeting standards that we have wanted to meet for a very long time, as well as develop some projects for 2025 that we cannot wait to show with y'all. So rvmiles.com/mile markers to join and learn more.
All right, chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox designs and manufactures the best towing products in the industry. Just look around. You'll find them on highways and campgrounds and anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. From award-winning tow bars and base plates to a full line of weight-distributing hitches, adjustable ball mounts, and now they have fifth-wheel hitches too. With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. Visit blueox.com for more information.
Harvest Host is a membership that allows RVers to take a rest from the road and enjoy unlimited overnight stays at over 5,100 unique locations in North America, such as breweries, farms, attractions, wineries, and much more. Easily plan and book your next RV trip and enjoy over $1,500 in exclusive member benefits by joining Harvest Hosts. Get 15% off your first year of membership with the code MILES, MILES. Just go to harvesthost.com to become a Harvest Hosts member today.
Okay, for a long time, magazines have been a great way to learn about RVing, all the different tips and tricks and where to go and how to operate your black tank and all that sort of stuff. But there's one magazine out there that has a really singular focus, and it's a great one. It's RV Destinations magazine, and they focus on surprise, surprise destinations. Our guests today are Randy and Callie Beheimer of RV Destinations magazine. Thanks so much for being here, guys.
Thank you
so
for
much
having
for
us.
having us.
If I could start, I like to when we chat with fellow RVers, if we could start before we get into talking about the magazine, I would love to hear your sort of RV origin story. What got you all into RVing?
Do you want to take that?
Yeah, well, so Randy was grew up in scouts, so he had that background of being out in the wilderness and tent camping around a fire. I grew up in the city, so I never had that privilege. The closest I got was tent camping in our backyard. But when we got together early on dating, he didn't have a whole lot of money, so tent camping was kind of a great way to go out and have a fun weekend together. Uh, which happened one time. So one time in our relationship, we tent camped. It was a great experience, which is why we're sitting in here now.
So this is when we were first dating, and I
Yeah.
was really trying to impress her. And
Oh yeah.
I got to tell this story really quickly. So, and again, as she said, I camped through Scouts, and so I'm very familiar with it. But it happened to rain that whole weekend, and it was raining, and the rain guard wasn't protecting the tent. Rain was dripping down on us. I was smart enough to bring an air mattress,
Which deflated.
which deflated in the middle of the night. So
we're
we were squashed in the middle, and rain dripping on our forehead. It was the worst possible scenario.
It was awful. And I remember walking away going, I'm never going to do that again. That is never happening again.
Yeah, so I think that was the very first conversation we had with, let's look at getting an RV.
Yeah. And that's literally where it started. So then we tent camped one time, and we got a little guy travel trailer, a little teardrop. We had that for about a year and a half.
Something like that.
And then I just wanted something bigger. I wanted my own bathroom instead of waking up in the middle of the night to walk to the bathhouse. So we got our first pull behind, which was about a 20-footer. And then shortly after that, we got our first Class C drivable, which was a mistake. We never should have bought the one that we bought. So that was short-lived. And then we went straight from there to our first diesel pusher. And then from our first diesel pusher to our second diesel pusher. And now we've got our third diesel pusher picked out. And I'm really roughing it these days. I mean, you can see behind, it's a bear.
I tell her all the time, this is not camping.
It's totally
You're
camping.
pulling your living room around here.
We're in the campground right now. We are totally camping.
You're setting up a temporary residence somewhere. That's camping to me.
Right.
I feel like
That's
that's the stereotypical RV origin story. You had a horrible tent camping experience. You decided to go RVing, and you go small and then bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, every single time it was like, this is our lifetime coach. This is our life one.
Yeah.
This is the one we're going to keep for the rest of our life. And then 3 years later, we've got our next lifetime coach.
It's lifetime coach.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's addictive, right?
It is.
Well,
It really is. But we love it.
I think just from me knowing a bit about the backstory of the magazine, I know y'all were really wanting to learn about places to go, right? What got you into sort of figuring out that you wanted to share RV destinations with folks?
Yeah, so the story is this happened probably in 2018, we think, was when it happened. But we were longtime subscribers to one of the other magazines out there, and that magazine would have one destination article in it, and it would be generally somewhere around the centerfold. And so when that would come in the mail, I'd open it up to the centerfold, and I would read about that destination, and I would tell her, like, babe, we need to go to this place. This sounds really cool. And we would not pay attention to the rest of the magazine because it was about, again, kind of how you said, how do you clean out the black tank? Here's the new models by Jayco and all this. And it's like, so we started stacking up these magazines over the years, wanting to go to them all. And so we were hiking one day. We just said, wouldn't it be cool if there was a magazine that solely focuses on the destination only?
Yeah.
Because what's the very first question a new RVer asks himself when they buy their RV?
Where are we going to go?
Where are we going to take this?
It's not, what new product do I want to put in my black tank? It's, where are we going to take this thing?
Right. And so that's kind of where it was born. We went out there to see if there was anybody else offering that. There really wasn't. There was a couple other magazines that had maybe 2 destination articles in the magazine, but none that was the primary focus.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where the star was born, so to speak.
And it could have just as easily been just a magazine for any travelers about North American destinations, but
Absolutely.
but you've chosen to tell the stories of these places from an RVer's perspective, how to get there in an RV, where to camp, all that sort of stuff, right?
Right.
Exactly. And our writers are RVers, whether we have a van RVer, she was formerly a car camper. We have, travel trailer RVers, we have boondocker RVers. I mean, we have RVers of all sorts that are writing for us. So it really does give a very unique perspective of whether you're in a big diesel pusher or you're in the back seat of your car, there is something in the magazine for you. And it really is geared to just how do you experience a part of the country maybe you haven't thought of before? What is there to do and see around these areas? Because, we know a lot about Yellowstone, we know a lot about the national parks, but what about the little towns, that are 100 miles away that people have never heard of? What's to do there?
We've got a real interesting dynamic as a company. Callie and I were just chatting about that. Pretty much everybody in the company is RVers. All everybody, our CMOs an RVer, our communications directors an RVer, our salespeople are RVers. And so when we do a town meeting, we've got a town meeting tomorrow. They're all over the country,
Yeah.
and it's just crazy how we're running this business very effectively all over the country. I mean, no, a few of us have stick and brick homes still, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, I keep hitting
I
the
know.
camera.
I was bouncing the table.
It's okay, I do it too.
So excited.
I know. Woo!
So you guys are in a unique position to share if you can. I would love to know, like, what are some of the top places across North America that people are interested, that people are searching for when they're trying to figure out where to go.
So the big ones are still the national parks. The national parks and the state parks, it's like regardless of how much information is out there, I available and readily at your fingertips on national parks, people still are very hungry for that type of information. And I think it's because, some RVers, like so many folks, are limited to a few vacations a year. And so they want to make the most of it for them and their families. So those are still wildly popular. State parks are very popular too, and attractions around state parks. A lot of beach destinations are very popular. Like right now, we're sitting here in Myrtle Beach, which is a wildly popular destination for families. This campground is jam packed full. And I get it. It's a great place to come and bring your family. So those tend to be the popular ones.
And we also in the magazine itself. So we've got a podcast and a magazine, and the magazine really tries to focus a lot. We're going to feature the national parks, as Callie said, but we also try to focus a lot on hidden gems, places you wouldn't think about, and those usually do pretty well as well.
Yeah, because you've got your working family RVers that have kids that are still in school and they only get a few times out a year, and then you have the closer to retirement, in retirement, that have a lot of time. So there's really kind of a diverse mix of what type of destination each type of group of people want to go to. So
Yep.
we really try to cover as much as we can.
Well, that was sort of my next question for you, is the hidden gem places. What are some hidden gems that y'all have found or that have come up through producing the magazine and the podcast that excite you guys?
Yeah, so one of our favorite little kind of hidden gems is Matlacha, Florida, which is a tiny, tiny, tiny little island right off the coast of Florida, by Cape Coral. And it's like you step back in time into this Caribbean fishing island. There's one RV park with 12 sites on this tiny little island. And it was just, we literally stumbled across it. And it was like, oh my gosh, this is great. Whoever would have thought this was in right off the coast of Cape Coral, which is, so built up and so busy. And now you're in this tiny little fishing town, which was really cool.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me because we have, as Callie said, I don't know what it is up to 26 or 27 riders at this point. We've got 3 up in Canada, and the rest are pretty much based here in the U.S. But we're inspired all the time. So we're our tagline is "Be inspired," and Callie writes the feature destination in each issue, but pretty much all the other writers write everything else in there. And so we get these articles submitted to us, and we're like, wow, we've never been there. That sounds like an amazing place. So it's inspiring us, which is what we're trying to do to the RV community. And
I say to him all the time, every time we do a podcast, I'm like, babe, I want to go here. And he's like, you want to go everywhere. I'm like, I know, they all sound so fun.
Yeah, there was a place, Sunapee, New Hampshire, right?
Sunapee, New Hampshire.
It was
McCall, Idaho.
Yeah, McCall, Idaho. Well, that's a little bit bigger a place, but there's just all these places that there's so much beauty in the United States and Canada. And, I just think some people get stuck in that rut of just hitting the Yellowstones and the big places that everybody knows about.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's I love the whole idea of the magazine because we are in an RV in order to travel. I think, and I don't think that's everybody. I think a lot of people RV just to camp, right? They want to go to a campground and hang out and have a campfire and be in the wilderness and cook outside. And that's great. I mean, we love that sometimes too. But it's not an all the time thing for us. The RVing is sort of our just preferred mode of travel and lodging as we travel across the country. So for us, it is really about finding cool places to go to and learning about them and knowing how to explore them. So yeah, I mean, I think what you provide is so great because there's what is out there on destinations particularly focused towards RVers is fairly limited. So you've also, as we've alluded to a couple times, you've also started a podcast as a compendium to the magazine, right? How long have you been doing the podcast?
So we've been doing audio podcast for about a year and a half now, and then just moved to video podcast as well about a month ago. Yeah, and what we do on that podcast, it's just talking about top 10 things to do in a location. So it's really kind of a handy starting travel guide for somebody if they want to go to Sunapee, New Hampshire, and figure out kind of the top 10 things to do there.
It works in conjunction with the magazine.
Yeah.
That was kind of the, we want to be the trip advisor for RV travelers. We want to be the complete resource center for any kind of travel destination. And that is our long-term goal. We've had that goal from day one, and we continue to do it. We've got, we're going to start coming out with itineraries and a bunch of different things, 7 to 10 day itineraries. We've got a lot of things that we're going to be pumping out into the system over the next few years.
Well, give us the rundown for the magazine, how many issues, how to get it, all that sort of stuff, and where to find you.
Yeah, we're a quarterly publication. We're available in print and digital format. So whether you are a full-time RVer and really don't have the space for print, no worries, because we're fully digital as well. All the information's out on our website at www.rvdestinationsmagazine.com/subscribe. We have several different packages available. So that you can get either print or digital or a combination of both. And then we also do one annual, which is kind of our best of the best photography and locations. And that comes out once a year. And we have a package that includes that, or you can just purchase that as well. And then our back issues are available digitally only. And there's packages that include that as well.
The back issues is a really great resource. Instead of like waiting for the next one to just keep coming up, you've got like all these back issues for people to peruse through. So that's really awesome that you offer that. Randy and Callie, thanks so much for joining us. RV Destinations Magazine and Podcast. We'll put the info in the description for this episode so you can check it out for yourselves. Thanks so much, guys.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
The RV lifestyle is about community, and the RV community is at the heart of RV Life. RV Life recently celebrated the 1 millionth trip planned with RV Life Trip Wizard, their excellent trip planning tool for RVers, featuring all the trusted reviews, pictures, and tips from their RV Life campground site. RV Life also features several blog sites and over 20 additional RVing forums to serve the RV community. All this experience and community feedback come together to create a fantastic trip planner and mobile navigation tool collectively called RV Life Pro. RV Life has marked a milestone of over 3 billion miles traveled using RV Life Pro, counting both the planned RV trips and ad hoc navigation with the included RV Safe mobile app. Take 25% off RV Life Pro at the link in the description for this episode. RV Miles is sponsored by RVPostings.com, your go-to platform for buying and selling RVs. Explore a wide range of RVs, from small pop-up campers to large diesel pushers. Find the perfect fit for your travel needs. With their user-friendly interface, you can easily navigate through their website for a seamless RV shopping experience. You can get comprehensive information about each RV, including photos, features, details, and pricing, and connect with sellers directly. No middlemen. And if you're selling your RV, you can list it on RVPostings.com and reach a targeted audience of RV buyers, ditching the tire kickers and the repetitive "is this still available" messages. It's a paid but affordable platform for sellers to post RVs for sale, so buyers can be sure that the seller is real and serious about selling. Whether you're buying or selling, RVPostings.com connects RV enthusiasts across the country. Get eyes on your RV with their Facebook buy and sell group with 163,000 members. All RVs posted on their website are posted to the group, as well as other sites like Oodle, Class, and American Listed. Whether you're buying or selling, start your journey at RVPostings.com.
It is time to check the level of our tanks, sponsored by Liquefied RV Toilet Treatment, the no BS toilet treatment. You can find it at liquefiedrv.com or over on Amazon. Jason, what is in your black tank this week?
Two absolutely bonkers social media posts that I've seen recently that I just can't get out of my head. I think they came in like a rapid succession, a couple days apart. One was a family with a toy hauler, and they had made a reel that I saw of them boondocking out in the middle of the nowhere, a beautiful location.
Beautiful.
And they had their back deck down, like toy haulers have that ramp in the back that can be a deck. They had that deck. They were out experiencing sunset in a really gorgeous location on that deck. And on that deck, which is made of wood, by the way, they had a wood fire pit, a BioLite fire pit. I don't know if you've ever seen one of those, but a BioLite fire pit has a fan built in it that gets it even hotter, and it's got a bunch of like vent holes on the side and stuff. So this is real raging fire on the deck of their RV, and if folks are out there doing that, I cannot overstate what a danger that is. Don't do that. And then the other one I saw was very similar. They had this was like an Instagram post or something, and they had we used to have it was a step that we could put on the
tire,
the wheel of our minivan. Yeah. So we could reach the roof rack, right? Uh-huh. So it's got like a strap on it that goes over the top of your tire, and it's a step. They had something similar to that, but it was a little table. So, convenient for when you're at a campsite, that spot where your tire is on a motorhome in particular, you've got nothing you can put there. You rub your leg against it, it gets dirty, whatever. You might as well put a little table on it so you can set stuff on it, right? Well, they had this thing on there. It comes maybe 1.5 feet from the side of the RV, max. And on it, they had set one of those chimney charcoal starters. So, it's like the sort of cylindrical, looks like a giant coffee mug that you fill with charcoal and you light it. And it had flames 6 inches high on the top of it, maximum like 9 inches from the sidewall of their RV. What is happening? I can't believe that wasn't melting the fiberglass just where it was without throwing sparks into the RV.
It's making my heart stop just thinking about it, especially as we know that so many people right now are being impacted by raging wildfires. California has the 6th largest wildfire currently burning.
It's upgraded. It was upgraded to 5th yesterday.
Oh,
and
my goodness.
Overnight it has uncontrollably spread more. So I wouldn't be surprised if it gets even higher.
We have friends friends in Fort Collins who are currently watching the fire that is raging there kind of creep in a little bit. They're safe, but I do know some people living in Estes Park that are really concerned right now about what is happening there. So please, we love having a campfire at the campground. It is a wonderful experience. But we have to have limits to that, and we have to be smart about it. And anytime you put an open flame next to your completely burnable RV, that is the ultimate campfire, you are running a risk of not only your life, the life of the things that you love and own, the people that are with you, but entire communities that call that area home. So please, please, please.
Wildfires are, we think they're natural. They are, but not most of them. The 80% of wildfires are man-made. And
especially when you light a car on fire and then roll it down a hill.
Yeah, they come at times of the year when wildfires aren't expected. Most wildfires that are natural happen from lightning, and they are based in the rainy season, and they are before or after rain, so they don't generally spread uncontrollably like human-caused wildfires.
We've talked a lot about this, but I have a feeling we're going to continue to talk about it as more and more wildfires continue to pop up. But let's hope we can all figure it out. All right, Jay, what is in your fresh tank this week?
My fresh tank is you folks in the RV Miles community. You know, so I put out a video the other day about using tow haul mode in your truck. And when I do a video, especially a truck video like that, sort of like a how things work type video, I get real nervous. I get real nervous because, you know, I'm not an automotive guy. I'm not somebody who, you know, grew up turning wrenches and all that sort of stuff. I'm a mechanical minded. I like to fix things and all that sort of stuff, but vehicles have never been sort of my forte. I learn about them when I've got a problem and I try to fix it, or when I need to know how to do something. So, you know, there are people that are more knowledgeable than me when it comes to this stuff, but there are also people who are, shall we say, overzealous when it comes to their attitudes about things like trucks.
Sometimes their attitudes, sometimes their attitudes are really big, but their knowledge is really small.
Yeah. Or they might know a lot, but they're just jerks. So so I get nervous about the comment section in particular, even though that shouldn't bother me, or that I'm just going to do or say something wrong. So I guess that probably improves the video because I research the hell out of them when it comes to that.
That's what bothers you is that you're going to say something wrong. And that is why there are hours and hours and hours spent reading articles that are just variations on a theme to make sure that you understand what you're about to relay.
But I was really pleasantly surprised and thrilled with the reaction to this video in particular, and as I sort of am every time I actually do it. And it always reminds me that the people watching a video like this are not the ones that know it all, right? And a few of them are, but if somebody's clicking on a video that's like, what does tow haul mode do? That person might be somebody like I used to be, where I didn't know what tow haul mode did. I knew I was supposed to press it when I'm towing or hauling, but I didn't know exactly what it did. So, you know, I just thank you. And it's hard sometimes on the internet because when people just got something out of a video, sometimes they just don't comment. If it was just if they had a positive experience with a video or a post or whatever, they might just hit the like button and that's it. So when you comment and let us know that this helped you, you appreciated it, it was it really makes a difference in our minds to help us move forward and know what else to create and know that we're on the right path. So thank you very much.
I knew that you were very nervous about this video before you told me you were nervous about this video, because you kept being like, well, maybe we could just put this out like later. Like, how about this day? And or maybe how about this day? And it was scheduled and slated to go out on the day it went out, but you kept being like, we could always, I mean, does it have to go out? And I was like, oh, he's nervous, which is very uncharacteristic for you at this point with any type of video that you create, because you've been doing it long enough that a comment section, you know the things in the comment section that are important and you want to pay attention to, and you also know the comments in the comment section you're going to gloss right over and move on. So I was really proud of you for sticking with the schedule and getting it out there, but then also, as I knew it would be, the comments were exactly what you had hoped that they would be. Not that you wanted people praising you, but that you hoped people found value. It's never about the praise. It's about whether or not we took time to put something out that is of value to people out there, because we know that people's time is precious. So if they're going to spend it with us, we want it to be good time for them.
And I don't want to screw you up. I don't want to tell you something that's going to affect, your experience.
Right.
It freaks me out when we meet people in public and they're like, I've been watching you for like 4 years or whatever, and we just bought this $300,000 motorhome because we love what you do, and this is our first one, and your advice has been so great. And I'm like, that is incredible. But gosh, I hope you don't have problem after problem with that $300,000 motorhome that you bought.
It is heart-stopping. And again, it's one of the reasons why, we take hopefully enough time to learn what we're talking about, work with people that we believe offer real value to you in the community, so that when you do put your money somewhere, and if it's because of something we talked about, that you feel confident in it. And even though it will stop our heart, we do feel confident that we shared something that, we ourselves use and would recommend, even if we weren't doing this for a living.
All right, what's in your black tanks this week?
It's about to be these wasps, because there are two of them now.
I see
he brought
nest.
a friend.
The nest is in the beautiful fireplace over here.
He brought a friend. Yeah. So actually what's in my black tank, though, is, yes, these wasps. But also it's Olympic season. The Olympics started last Friday, the opening ceremony, and all the games have been going on. My favorite parts, which is swimming and gymnastics. You know what was my not favorite part and what's landing in my black tank is the fact that I'm trying to watch the Olympics with my kids, and all I'm getting is political ads and pharmaceutical ads. And I just feel like maybe we don't need to have all of those things on the Olympics. I understand why they're there, because there are millions and millions and millions of people watching. But what I don't want to watch on the Olympics is these negative, nasty political ads.
Yeah. It's rough, and
it's rough, especially where we're at right now.
Yeah, and
it's
as
rough.
you travel, it's rough back home too, because back home we're
in
on
swing states.
We're right on the Mississippi. We're right on the Mississippi River, so we're on the border of two states. So our local TV stations are playing ads for candidates in both states, and it's just, obviously we know politics. The ads get really vile and nasty, and we talk to our kids about politics. It's not like they can't hear that stuff. Although
they're currently like in their own like presidential campaign with their stuffed animals right now. They have multiple stuffed animals running for president. They are creating like ads for them and campaign slogans. We are we want our kids to know about democracy and be a part of the democratic process. I would be fine with positive political ads, and we've gotten a few of those. There's very few and far between. But what I don't want are the ones that talk about like killing and, just really violent sort of rhetoric.
Well, and like, can't we just? I wish there was a way. Now that we're watching the Olympics on YouTube TV, right? Everything is digital. This is not coming over an antenna. In this day and age, can't there be a button to save the candidates lots of money? Yes. A button that says, I know who I'm voting for.
I don't need to see this ad.
Don't show me another ad.
I guarantee you this ad is not going to change my mind.
Whether it's for the candidate you like or the candidate you don't like, I don't think you want to see those ads. I don't either.
Or can we circle back around on this? Like, let's give a little business speech.
Yeah.
Can we just circle back around on this at a different time? I don't want it when I'm watching my Disney videos. I don't want
the
it.
Olympics, it's something that's supposed to feel like this feel good, bringing the world together to compete in sport, and there are no political lines, and we're not fighting, there's no war. We're all together in this little bubble of amazing human accomplishment, and then we get sucked out into not only the political ads, but you mentioned the pharmaceutical ads, and I think you mean very specific pharmaceutical ads that are overtly sexual, and that's
yeah. I don't need to see.
We're fine with talking with our kids about sex, but like I don't want to see that stuff. But also, like, it's like every time.
Also, that I'm not going to sing the jingle because it will get stuck in our heads. But I want you to know that there is a new version of that out now, and it is all around gardening. Have you seen it?
Of the Jardians jingle.
Yeah, Jardians. It's really
now you're going to sing it.
The little I can't even do it.
I will watch the
bad.
If they want to put the Jardians jingle on, I will watch that over and over.
No.
I'm good with the Jardians ads. I think they're awesome.
But I
can't. I love it. So I really get deep into. I watch the first Jardians ad. Where it's the woman that's at the
movie set.
She's on set for this. Well, I guess she's on set for the commercial. Like it's a behind the scenes of the making of a Jardians commercial. So there's like the director coming up to her with her hair and the costume person and the stage manager, but then they're showing the commercial and it's super meta. It's very, very straight. If you really look at it and think about it, you're like, why aren't you showing me the commercial? Then you're showing me the behind the scenes of the commercial. And there's kind of then a behind the scenes of the commercial. It is layer upon layer upon layer in this Jardians commercial, and it blows my mind.
See, and I watch it from a choreographer's perspective and an actor's perspective, and this last one, at the very end of it, the tableau that they made with these actors, these dancers, and the two women that they put down on front, they had them like go down front in front of the main character and do the most ridiculous like on the ground pose with like their hand up on their head and like their hand on their hip or something like that. And I just watch it from a choreographer's perspective, and I think like, why are we? I understand it's supposed to be super cheesy, right? Like you might as well lean into it. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're talking about this commercial as long as we are right now. But I understand, lean into the corniness of it. But I look at it and I think, wow, give a daytime Emmy to every single actor in this commercial, because their ability to act like they are enjoying this and that they think that selling it like they think that they are doing like, George Balanchine type choreography and that they are up there like singing Sondheim is really quite impressive. But yes, there are now 3 versions of this song, and it is I can't handle it when it's coming on multiple times when I'm just trying to watch the GOAT be friggin' amazing at the Olympics and jump 12 feet up in the air on, and I'm talking about Simone Biles, but like holy moly, incredible U.S. women's gymnastics team. And then all of a sudden it's just like, here comes, shoot 'em up commercials about politics, and then after that we're going to talk about like Sky Rizzy for like 47 like hours, and it's
a lot. Same ads again and again. Like just
it's a lot.
Just show me different ads.
It's a lot. And I realized I alluded to a black tank that I was actually had tanked and wasn't going to do, but now I have to say it, and that is I was going to black tank this storm of interest that is currently hanging out in the Atlantic right now, trying to decide if it wants to become a tropical depression, if it wants to become a tropical storm, and if it wants to totally tank my Disney vacation. I'm keeping a very close eye on this. I know that that sounds very first world problems to be like, oh, I could go to Disney if there's a storm, because I know the damage it will do everywhere else, which is why I was tanking that. But I really need that storm to break up. Like I really do. I need this vacation and I need the storm to break up. So that was also going to be in my black
What
tank.
is in your fresh tank this week?
My fresh tank, it goes to more things that we've been watching. But our family has kind of, again, we're always years behind everything, right? I always use Hamilton as the excuse that it was like 3 years before we all got on the Hamilton train. Well, our family is now in the F1 train, and we have become huge F1 racing fans. And I am just here to fresh tank that and tell you that if you are not watching F1 racing, you are missing out on all of the drama, all of the excitement, all of the strategy, and it is fantastic. Like, they are currently on summer vacation, so they're not going to come back for 3 weeks. So you've got some time to get in there. But my father-in-law turned us on to F1 racing last season, about halfway through the season when we were living with them, when we first moved back to the Quad Cities. And I have been hooked ever since. I super look forward to getting up on Sunday mornings, making my coffee, having my special little Sunday morning breakfast, and sitting down in front of F1 and watching Verstappen just kind of run the track with all of you. Because
I like watching him get beat.
I know, and I am very much here for...
The Mercedes one too last week was fantastic.
It did. Now, my driver is Charles Leclerc with Ferrari. I love him. I love his name. I think he's a fantastic driver. I love the chaos of Max Verstappen. I love that he's up all night doing sim racing, simulation racing, and then he shows up on Sunday morning and does an F1 race. I just think that that's wild and crazy, and it creates all kind of chaos, and I love it. So F1 gets my fresh tank. We're having the best time watching it as a family. I encourage you to check it out as well if you are just looking for something that really, you don't really have to have any stakes in this game, but you end up having your favorite driver. Lewis Hamilton, amazing. He's been doing it for 20 years. He's been a lot of fun to watch. It's just a really, really good time.
I like that it's just not like full of crashes and, like the race stopping every 5 minutes because there's a safety car out. That happens now and then, but really no more than like once a race or so.
It is heart stopping. Like when it's lights out and they take off and there is that first like 10 seconds of intense jockeying for position, and they are trying to cut one another off. And, you've got your, race leader who's trying to hold that position, and their tires, they get so
inches. Yeah.
So close. Not even inches. It's wild.
You watch their speedometer and like they go around a turn and they get down to like 40 miles an hour. And then a second later, they're at 200 miles an hour. And then they're back down to 40 and then up to 200. And can you imagine what that feels like in that cockpit?
No, and I don't want to. That's the thing. I will let them do it and I will absolutely enjoy. I get nauseous when we ride on board with them for a long period of time. And, it's on a big screen.
The camera shot, yeah.
And that camera shot is just taking you with them. And it is wild. I don't know how they do it. And I was saying to you, because we just had the Belgian Grand Prix was last weekend. And I was saying to you, as we were watching them at clocking 198 miles an hour. And it is like there is no time for them to think about where some of those turns are where they can go that fast. And I'm like, they have to have every track just built. Driving that track has to be something you can do with your eyes closed.
So maybe staying up all night and being on a simulation race is good for if
are
you're
you
doing that track.
Are you implying that he was grumpy in Hungary?
I bet he was doing a different track, which explains a lot of what was going on in that race.
I will just say the Max Verstappen from a couple weeks ago at the Hungary race versus the Max Verstappen that was like, "How would you like me to handle this, mate? Would you like me to go?" Two very different people.
Because
other one was like beep 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 beep.
They listen in on
It was so great.
On their radio, so you hear a lot of their conversations. And what's great compared, we don't need to go on and on about this, but
Well, we could.
compared to like Indy or NASCAR, which are fun to watch as well, is that it's fewer cars, so you can really get into the different people and personalities, and they're listening to the radios. So there's only like 20 racers. So you're not dealing with 40 plus cars and learning all the different people who you don't have to worry about trying to figure out who's who on the track and all that.
Yeah, our whole family has picked drivers. Everyone has, and none of us agree on who it is, but we've all picked some of our favorites. And so it's just a fun thing to do as a family on a Sunday morning. So fresh tank to F1.
That's it for this week's episode of the RV Miles podcast.
Yes, it is. And hey, just a reminder, Homecoming is coming up on October 9th through the 13th. It's getting closer and closer. We're only about 2.5 months out from the event. If you would like to join us, tickets are still on sale. You can go to rvmiles.com/homecoming and you can be a part of the first ever RV Miles Consumer Roundtable. We're going to spend a couple hours during the event, all coming together as a group and talking about what is and isn't working for us as RV consumers, so that Jason and I can get a better picture of where we are all at as a community, and then we can try to use that information to help make real change in the RV industry for you, the consumer. So come join us, come have your voice heard. This is a real chance to really have your voice heard. I know that sometimes we think our voices are heard on social media, but they're kind of not. So come to Homecoming, where you can have your voice heard on the RV industry, things you like, things you don't like. rvmiles.com/homecoming. We look forward to seeing you there. So stay safe out there, please. No wood fire stoves or charcoal stoves right up against that RV. Let's not do that. Let's make this the year of no fires in our RV that we think are recreational. Let's not do that. And while you're at it, also keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.